Who would you like to go on a road trip with from this current 49ers team?
Okay,
Who would make the cut?
Right, with one proviso. I've never met any of these people, but just from what I've gleaned, I would start. My number one would be Trent Williams. Now we'd have to get a big car, maybe a van. You know what I'm saying?
Certainly.
But I think he would meet all the qualities. He has a great laugh. He's a grown up. He has wisdom.
Mhm.
He can make fun of himself. He has a lovely smile. He's very intelligent. I mean, come on. He's an offensive lineman. They're the most, Iggy, you know this. They are the most normal people on a football squad. You would agree,
he's
right?
the oldest player on the team. He's the
Yeah.
best player on the team. He's the only person really in the organization that's a no doubt about it future Hall of Famer. He would have his own perspective on everything. Kyle Shanahan, the way they lost the Super Bowl, and he might share it in that road trip setting.
Iggy, are you there? Because you froze a minute.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
You're there. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay,
Yeah, I don't
and
know what
all your
happened.
words came through.
Oh,
You just froze a little bit there. Okay, so he's our number one. Now, Iggy, have you in fact ever talked to him?
not like one-on-one, but he always does group interviews, and he's always very patient and gives good answers. I mean, he seems very friendly.
Very friendly, just like what you would consider an offensive lineman to be.
I would say so. Yeah, Trent Williams would be a good one. He wouldn't talk too much. You know, some people would talk too much. He wouldn't be one of those people. He talk just the right amount.
Yeah. There are some people when you talk, you say, my right foot hurts me today. And then they would say, I have a trouble with my right foot all the time. And they always make the conversation about themselves.
Yeah.
I don't think Trent Williams would. I don't like people like that. And
no,
I don't
also
think
he's from Texas and he's a slow talker. I like that too. Slow talker.
slow talking.
Yeah.
Let me hear. How does he talk slow? What do you mean?
I mean, if you really know ball, I mean, you'd have to say that Brock Purdy is the perfect quarterback for us. I mean, everything's kind of a draw. I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a New Yorker. I'm a quick talker. You know what I mean? I talk to yeah.
You got to get it in before the subway comes. I understand. But they got all day.
Okay. So, Trent, hats off to you. And who would be, Iggy, a number two?
Let's say, so we have like a big van and we can get like maybe 4 or 5 people in the van with us.
No. It only has to be, I insist on one-on-one.
One-on-one? Okay. All right. But there's going to be some contenders. Number 2.
There are going to be some contenders.
Some contenders. All right. I would go with Talanoa Hufanga because to me, he's like the most normal person on the team. It would be like going on a road trip with a normal, down-to-earth person. He's like the new Jimmy Ward. I like defensive backs because they have this very like gentle, normal side, but they're nuts. They're like two people. There's the presentable side and then the violent, I'm the smallest guy on the defense, but I don't care side. They're very interesting.
Ronnie Lott was like that. Ronnie Lott.
Yeah. Dante Whitner's like that. Very well-spoken, and he calls himself Hittner.
I don't know Hufanga. I've never actually even heard him talk, so I don't have an opinion. Can you talk a little bit more about him? Do you know him? Have you spoken to him?
Yeah, he's like the nicest. He's the one guy in the locker room who like lights up when he sees me, and he'll say hello and he'll give me a high five. He interviewed me at the Super Bowl at the media day. He was doing like he was hurt and he was interviewed the Blue Man Group, and he's like, "Hey Grant, come here. I got some questions for you." So he's a cool guy. He's actually normal. We were talking about being normal and asking questions about other people. He would fulfill that criteria. Smart guy too. Went to USC, which is
USC,
it couldn't hurt.
Yeah, no, it couldn't hurt. USC used to be a joke, but actually, it's much improved, and it's a high quality institution. How they handle their athletes, I have no idea. But it's Iggy. When we did a road trip, and you looked at colleges, we went to USC that day.
That was the first one we went to, and it was very impressive. Yeah,
very impressive.
That was 20 years ago. Almost exactly.
It was almost 20 years ago?
It was exactly 20 years ago. It was the summer of 2004. We went USC. Then we went the next day we went to
Claremont.
What was the Claremont school? Claremont?
Yeah, Claremont.
Yeah, and then we went to Irvine.
Oh
and then we went to UCLA, and then we went on the next day. We went to Santa Barbara and Cal Poly. That was the trip.
We did.
It's a good trip. On our least favorite
And-
place by far,
Yeah,
Claremont.
I would agree. And remember, the young lady who led the tour, she had just woke up. It was like 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
She had just woke up. She
Yeah.
clearly hadn't brushed her teeth or combed her hair. She so didn't want to do it.
No, and it's a college, not a university, so there were no students like on the campus during the summer. So it just seemed like a dead area, and you couldn't get a feel for life there. As opposed to UCLA, we were walking, we couldn't get an actual tour, so we had to like follow one. It was fun.
We felt left out.
Yeah, maybe that's why I wanted to go there, because they wouldn't let me be in a tour. Anyway,
Okay,
road trips.
I'll tell you someone else that again, this is a leap of faith. I don't know any of them. I could have fun with Kittle.
Yeah.
I think Kittle basically is a good guy.
Mhm.
Now, he does have a big ego and he likes to be the center of attention. But I think in a road trip, he might actually be much more normal than you would expect. And
Yeah, like you could play games with Kittle.
You could play games.
What was the game we used to play when it was me, you, Mom, and Brian would be going, something like Botticelli? Was that what we called it?
Botticelli, yeah.
Botticelli? We have to think of a person,
a
famous person.
Yeah, and you had a X number of guesses. Is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it alive?
You can ask yes or no questions, and you
yes
go
or
around.
No questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that was
could
a good
play
game.
Botticelli with him, right?
You could definitely play Botticelli with George Kittle.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think he'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I do think, off the record, he would be a riot about what's going on in that locker room.
Yeah. So you went for the two of the older players on the team, which is smart. Talanoa, the one thing about him, he may not feel like he could go off the record. He's still like 23 years old. He might feel like he doesn't have the clout. He's got something to do.
Yeah.
But another guy who would have something to say has the clout, Trevarius Ward, and he's extremely funny.
See, I don't know him. Tell us about him.
Trevarius Ward is an outsider. He wasn't drafted by the 49ers. He beat the Niners in the Super Bowl when he was with the Chiefs. Then they gave him a bunch of money. So he kind of walks around the organization like, hey, I'm a champion. You wanted me here. I'm really good. I mean, he's a lot of fun. He seems like he's his own guy. And in the last interview he did, I didn't ask him any questions because I just like listening to him talk. And he walked off the stage, and as he was walking off, he said, hey, Grant, how come you never asked me any questions? So I think we could have fun with him.
I love guys like that.
Yeah.
I do. I love guys like that.
Yeah.
Are there any more, or should we talk about people you wouldn't want to make a road trip with?
Well, let's give some honorable mentions. Aaron Banks grew up in Alameda. He'd be kind of interesting. He's an offensive lineman. He's down to earth. He doesn't have the experience and wisdom of Trent Williams, but he'd be interesting.
I love offensive linemen and I love tight ends. I do.
What about the Harvard kid? You could talk about smart things.
I have a feeling I have a feeling he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be a lot of fun, and you could play Botticelli with him, and he could probably beat you.
He's a Botticelli player. Okay, last one. What about the punter? He's from Australia.
I have no opinion. You have to tell me.
Fair enough. You just be making that pick based on the accent, which isn't a fair reason to make a pick.